So truth be told, I don't really do the animal chores anymore in the morning. My second oldest does them. My two oldest have decided that one of them's better at animals, the other one's better at dishes. So while we have a lot of moving parts going on and a lot of animals at our house right now, the second oldest, who's better at animals, is going to stay on animals. Well, this morning she's not feeling good. So that means that I get to do the animals. That's okay, I don't mind it most of the time. I'm gonna do these chores pretty quickly because with the current weather situation we have going on, it's the perfect day for buttermilk biscuits. One of the things that our goats do in particular is they waste a lot of hay. Well, I think most goats do. Once it falls on the floor, they don't want to eat it anymore. So we have this trough below that catches a lot of hay. They won't eat that hay. They only want to eat what's in the hay rack that's up. And one of the ways that we have eliminated waste with the goats is we have taken the hay that falls into that trough and we now feed it to the rabbits because the rabbits aren't as picky as the goats are. But I'm really allergic to hay. I'll break out in whelps and I will have a sneezing fit and my nose will run like a faucet. So given our current climate and everybody has gloves and masks, I've got one. Might as well use it, huh? For farm chores. At least. The problem with wearing glasses is they fog up. At least, this is a really good use for this. We'll see if it works. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think this actually worked. So now maybe I don't have an excuse. Actually, it will work really well for my daughter who takes care of the animals because she's also very much allergic to hay. And our oldest daughter has to come out and give the rabbits and the goats their hay. But this morning the goats have plenty of hay, so that's good. And I took the leftover and I gave it to the rabbits. And I'm not quite certain that our mama rabbit liked the gloves and the mask because she totally bit my finger. I've never had her bite my finger before, so we'll see. I don't think she liked it so much. Good morning, Eileen. Hey, baby. No eggs yet? No eggs yet? Tell the people about it? lot of people love buttermilk biscuits. I do too. However, I've never really been able to make buttermilk biscuits until a few years ago when I learned a few tricks to having successful biscuits. You could probably use almost any recipe, and there's a few things to kind of alter that will help you make light and fluffy and really poofy biscuits, right?
Yummy.
I don't really do this anymore. My older girls are the ones that bake a lot of things. They cook a lot of dishes, but every now and then I have to prove to them that I can still do it because I'm the one that taught them, right? This one's gonna help. You can double this recipe very easily. And then we're gonna use buttermilk. However, well, the recipe calls for buttermilk, but we don't have buttermilk. What we have found, yogurt works just as well. I make my own yogurt out of raw cow's milk. I make my own yogurt out of raw cow's milk. It is a little bit more liquidy because I don't cook it as high of a temperature because I want to maintain those raw milk properties in my yogurt. So it has a little bit more of a liquidiness to it. So if you don't have buttermilk, you can easily make buttermilk by adding vinegar or lemon juice, a couple tablespoons, to your milk and let it sit for a little while. Or if you don't want to do that, you can easily use yogurt, and I would just add a little bit of water to kind of thin it up a little bit. It does the same thing that buttermilk does, and we will replace a lot of buttermilk with yogurt in all sorts of different recipes, and we have been very successful at it.
Hey! That's a lot of flour.
Baking is a really good way to teach your kids fractions. I wish we'd done this in school. So you're gonna mix your dry ingredients first, which is flour, baking powder, baking soda, and then salt. To that, we're gonna add our butter next. You want your butter super, super cold. And then then we're gonna add the buttermilk, but in this case, it's gonna be yogurt. You always see where it says, cut the cheese, or not the cheese.
The butter.
Cut the butter into small cubes and then, mix it in or whatever, and you have it just doesn't work that well. So what we have started doing is we grate our butter.
Like cover.
It works brilliantly. And yes, there's a lot of butter in this recipe. Don't be afraid of butter. Don't be afraid of your animal fats. They're good for you. Looky there.
Perfectly grated cheese.
Butter.
Butter, whatever.
Perfectly grated butter. Like I said, I am doubling this recipe, so don't be like, oh my gosh, Sarah. There you go. Now you can see it. See, this is great. And it's gonna incorporate into your dough perfectly. All right, so by freezing our butter, it makes grating it very easy. Also makes it into these little bitty crumbles that you're gonna put into your dry mixture. And also makes your hands very soft, greasy. Your butter into your dough.
Can I?
Just and just for a minute, just till it's mixed relatively
One or
evenly.
two?
Just one. Right, stop. All right, so now your dough.
It was less than a minute, but
Yeah, it was less than a minute, huh?
just like 2.
You know how they always talk about having that crumbly mixture, and it's hard to achieve it when you are chopping up butter? This helps. So that's crumbly. That's what you're looking for. now we're gonna add our yogurt. If you have buttermilk, you can add buttermilk. I don't have buttermilk. I'm also not going to create buttermilk out of my milk that I have.
Because that's for coffee.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use my yogurt that has gotten a little too sour. I have recently learned how to fix this. All right, my yogurt, you can see it's a little liquidy. If you have just yogurt or Greek yogurt, I would go ahead and add just a 3/4 a cup of yogurt and then a 1/4 a cup of water and mix it in together, and then you're gonna kind of achieve the same consistency. Now here's another important thing. Do not over mix your batter.
It will be horrible if you do.
Yeah, that's how your biscuits turn out really rock hard. You do not want, so we're using regular flour, and the more you mix, the more you activate the glutens in it. It's great for bread making cinnamon rolls, things like that. You want to activate.
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, you want to activate the glutens in that, but in this, you do not want to activate your glutens. You are going to pour this in and mix until it's just incorporated.
Do you want me to turn? Here.
Nope, I got it.
Oh wow, it already is like biscuit dough.
See how it looks? That's how you want it to look. Because when you work with it, you're gonna see that there's some flour in there, and that's okay. You're gonna work with this on a, what are those things called? Well, we're gonna put it on our countertop because I just cleaned my countertops. And then you're gonna work with that. That extra flour down there is gonna be just fine, but it keeps you from overworking your dough. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour this out onto our countertop. This is not dirt, it's butter.
Here.
Hold on.
Is this the one that we used?
Don't be afraid of extra flour. It's gonna work in your favor.
Can I tell you the names?
Not right now, baby. Give me just a second.
I'm doing a video.
Okay, so maybe you do want to mix it just a little bit more. There's a lot of extra flour, but that's okay.
But it wasn't that long ago, so it was like 30 seconds.
You know what, actually, we probably want more liquid in here.
You can make like a little hole in.
You
could
could.
pour some in and then mix it.
All right, look, so there is a little bit of extra. If you want to go grab that yolk, there's a little bit more flour in here than I really want. So what are we gonna do here?
We're gonna
That's
make
gonna-
a hole and we're gonna pour some.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just come on, it's good. Good.
Actually, I think I may have messed this up. And it's caught on tape. Oh
No.
no. Ella and
It's fine.
Olivia are gonna not let me live this one down. So maybe we should show you what not to do, right?
Like name the video.
Because I can
We
already,
messed up.
yeah,
Don't watch.
I can already feel it getting tough.
Here.
There's a major difference.
Yeah.
So maybe I didn't add as much, maybe I needed to add a little bit more liquid. You might, depending on what you need, add just a little bit more liquid to your flour, to your dry ingredients, and that way it will be softer. With working with this dough, I already found that it was starting to get tough. It'll still be good.
Yeah.
But Do not do what I just did. But do not overmix. That's a big deal. And you want to make sure, though, that it is just mixed. Your dough will be light and fluffy. If it does not feel light and fluffy, it is overmixed. However,
if it's too light and fluffy,
then maybe you don't have enough liquid. I don't know. No, but we can still save these. This I promise. All right.
do this.
Flatten, and then come straight up. So what you want to see is this. This is gonna allow your biscuits to rise. If you cut down and twist, you seal all of that in and your biscuits won't rise and they become hard disc. So even though I messed up the dough a little bit, this is still going to rise.
We won't tell Ella and Olivia.
Yeah, don't tell Ella and Olivia, because then they'll be like, we do this better, Mom. I mean, they have the recipe memorized.
Olivia does. Olivia just adds the stuff and she made one, the next one.
Sure, go
And
for it.
it's important to let your kids help. That will also make your biscuits better.
No, yeah.
Think.
If you can't get it out, then just tear away.
Okay.
There you go. And then you really want to put your biscuits very close together. This is a greased with butter pan. Put your biscuits together closely. They will rise. They will help each other rise together. It's like a metaphor for life, right?
Like a flock of penguins.
Like a flock of penguins.
They stay together to keep each other warm.
And with your remaining dough, again, don't overwork it. An effort to not overmix. Some of my biscuit tops are gonna look funky, but you can still see that. That's important. This one's probably not gonna really rise.
Or you can split it between your four lovely daughters.
No, we're not gonna split the biscuit dough. Your oven should already be preheated to 425 degrees. We are going to put these in
425.
for 10 to 15 minutes. That's what the recipe says. However, we have noticed that it tends to need to be 20 minutes to get a nice golden color on these guys. So this is kind of what it looks like. See biscuits.
You didn't do a bad job.
I know. Okay, nice and golden brown. And now this is really hot. All right, so the biscuits just came out of the oven. And we're gonna see if I lived up to Ella and Olivia's expectations. The ones that cook these biscuits all the time. Do you see how high those biscuits are? Look at that. They puffed up just perfectly.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if from falling down. I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind. I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.
Hold on. I wasn't recording. You're gonna have to repeat that. How did I do on those biscuits, guys? Really good.
We both did.
I still got it.
It sounded more like, ooh.
Okay, to recap. Sorry. This is really good. To recap, the tricks. Freeze your butter and shred it in your cheese shredder. That's gonna be great. Do not overmix your batter. However, if you think you overmixed your batter, it will be okay. The third is when you're cutting out your biscuit dough, press down with your cutter and come straight up. Do not twist. You do not want to seal in those sides. And then the fourth tip, pack those biscuits in together. Close. They help each other rise. This recipe, just so you all know, I ended up cooking it for 28 minutes. I am going to post the normal time for this recipe, which is supposed to be 10 to 15 minutes, but do keep an eye on it because you're probably gonna have to double that time. It's okay, but you just want a nice golden crust on it. So honestly, the whole reason I really wanted to make buttermilk biscuits today was because yesterday I went to the store to go get some molasses to trick my goats into taking some medicine. Well, hopefully it works. But we have, when I was younger, we lived with my grandparents for a while. And even then, we saw them all the time growing up. So they were very much a part of my life. But every time my grandmother made biscuits, we would have molasses and butter. There would be some jams, but it always was a cause for a debate. Some would put butter on their biscuits and then the molasses and eat it that way. Others would put butter on their plate and pour molasses on top and mix it together. There was a debate to see who did it the right way. And I just want to say, family, I do it the right way.
Right. It's super fluffy.
Right?
I didn't expect it to be, in all honesty, I expected it to be dense.
Did you think your mother would mess up?
She did.
I mean, I'm the one.
Yeah. That's why I'm your favorite.
So good. I mean, I'm the one who taught you how to do this. I would not mess up at this.
I know, but I have the 6th sense for baking.
You do.
You did really good.
Thank you. Thank you for paying me that compliment.